Hello, welcome to today's video, and this one's an exciting one for you because we call this like workouts to fire you up, and this is from our latest report or book that we call the Little Black Book of Training Secrets. It has, as it says, 101 programs. So I'm only going to show you like really one or two of them today, but these are going to be one or two really awesome workouts that'll really will fire you up big time. All right, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. So, firstly, what is the Little Black Book of Secrets? If you haven't heard of it, it's basically a series of programs that will suit almost any goal or need. So we cover strength, sports, rehab, running, cycling, triathlon, core stability, weight loss. Plus, there's stuff for posture, older adults, injury prevention. Pretty much all different sort of ages, needs, goals, whatever you can think of. There's a program because you can't just follow a one size fits all. If you Whatever you need for a running program will be completely different to what you need for a program for a football player, or someone needing to have specific stuff for sports, or someone who just might have a knee injury. Is something they'll need to have a specific exercises and methods to overcome that, and that's what this is all about. There's a free chapter you can get, which is the functional training book here on the left. So this is just one chapter of the whole thing, all right, that we're giving away for free to get, and this one has probably the most in it, to be honest, with all the exercises and stuff as well. All right, so let's get into today's video anyway, so you get a bit of an idea of what we're going on about. So why do we use advanced workouts? Well, firstly, they change you really fast. Body's very good at adapting to exercise, so wants to find efficient ways of coping with the challenges thrown at it. So if your challenge is not great enough, no change will occur. So usually what you'll see is the first, when you first start a new program, first few weeks, really everything hurts, it's really hard and it's difficult. But then after a period of time, you sort of get used to it, you're not sore anymore. And if you don't change things, you're pretty much just going to stay the same. All right, so changing exercises is the best way to do things, but if you change them too often, you don't really get enough time to get used to them. What we often see is people never changing the sets and the reps, or if they're always just doing the same workout. Even if it's running, they're just going to the same running, and we call that junk miles in terms of running programs, and cycling as well. All right, so the best things with advanced workouts is they change you really fast. Secondly, the metabolic rate is massive because these advanced workouts create huge amount of damage, much more than a normal workout, meaning there's a longer recovery time, which means there's a greater muscle gain, which means there's a faster metabolic rate, which means there's a better chance of weight loss or improved performance. Even if you weren't trying to lose weight, you might have just been wanting to get faster. You need to add muscle to do that, and to lose weight, you need to add muscle to do that. All right, so basically you're going to change, it's going to change you really fast, metabolic rate increases. They're fun and exciting, so they turn ordinary exercises into extraordinary ones, and workouts for that matter. And last thing, which is probably one of the biggest ones, is time efficient. You don't really need a lot of time to do these, as they're so hard. You can't do them every day because, again, they're just so hard. There's just so much fatigue, meaning you don't really need to be a gym junkie. You'd be training smarter, not harder. All right, that's why we use these. Now, how do we do the giant set, which is the one we're going over to today? Basically, what you've got to do is find a hero exercise, and it's usually like a big movement like squats or chin-ups, push-ups even, mate. Deadlifts. Deadlifts, you've got to be careful of overdoing them, but basically a big exercise. You need to be certain, though, that your exercise technique is spot on. Whatever exercise you pick as your hero, because if you've got a sort of like some flaw in it, or you don't feel quite confident, that could be disaster in terms of this program. All right, so you want to have something that you're very confident that you can do very, very well. All right. Secondly, you need to find 4 or 5 exercises, and you could even have 3 if you wanted to, that you're going to build around it. All right. And these are 5 that I've got here: Turkish get up, cable press, front squat, sled pull, low to high wood chop. Now, how did I come up with those ones? Well, basically, I need to, like, whatever my big movement is, so let's say it was the deadlift that covers the bending movement, I need to have exercises that get in all of these other patterns of movement in there. All right, so I've got bending there, I need to have the others there. If I chose a squat, I need to have a bending exercise in there. So if I go back to the to this one, oh, actually, if I go forward, I'll show you the what the these. So the deadlift has the bending movement, the sled pull has the bend and the pull, the cable press is the lunge to push the gate. Same with the Turkish get up, so except it has the twist. We've got a squat on its own and we've got a twisting on its own. All right, so then we cover all of our patterns of movement within that workout. The best exercise, like we said, should be your hero. The other ones just balance everything out. Most people used to use muscles, and unfortunately some people still do this, and it's a bodybuilding way of approaching things. And if you're a bodybuilder, fine, go ahead and do it, but most people are not. And so why follow a program that's just stupid? We don't move like that. We move using patterns of movement. So if you want to be very efficient at movement and just be strong everywhere and never get injured, this is how you want to work out. All right. So use patterns of movement, not muscles. Okay. So now we've got our workout design. So now the fun part begins, because the way this works is, this is where it gets a bit tricky, right? You basically do the deadlift, then you do the sled pull, then you go back to the deadlift, then you do the cable press, then you go back to the deadlift, then you do the squat, then you go back to the deadlift, you do the Turkish get up, back to the deadlift, do the wood chop. So maybe we could pick, like, say 6 reps or 6 to 8, and all the rest of them could be 10. All right, so we end up doing really 5 sets within the one big giant. So that's what I call a giant set, because it's one big set is that. So once you've done all of that I went over, you rest for say 2 to 3 minutes and you do it again. You could imagine doing that 3 times. You'd be really doing, say, 15 sets of deadlifts, which is extremely tiring. All right, that's why you've got to be very careful of your technique on this one. The other one's not so much. There's quite a big break between them, but usually the one that's last, you want to sort of pick it as a little bit easier one. The ones, because you're going to get quite fatigued towards the end of it. So don't put the one that you're struggling with at the end. You want it to sort of be pretty early on. All right, and there's many different ways to break this up, and I'll give you another. This is one of our programs from the 101 program. This is number 15. I'll call this one the ball breaker. And basically it's a strength development. It's an advanced movement training phase, strength endurance. Name sums it up. This one has a strong emphasis on leg strength. All right, so we're sort of like doubling up the hero is going to be the leg one. So by the end of this workout, trust me, you'll know your legs are smashed. They would have done a lot of work. All right, and you can see how we've mixed it up with squat to chin up, squat to push up, squat to Turkish get up. This one's the lunge to bent over row, lunge to shoulder press, and lunge to medicine ball wood chop, covering all of our patterns of movement. Mixing up reps and tempos and a little bit in there as well. All right, so there's an example of just one of the giant sets, and I think in the book there's about 6 different ones that we give you to look at and try. Or for some of them are beginner, some of them are intermediate. All right, so the giant sets are great fun, very, very tiring. All right, you wouldn't want to do this too often, because you don't want to forget your nutrition and recovery. So sleep, rest, recovery is just as important as the training. So, this is where you're putting the fire out. So at least 48 to 72 hours between these workouts. You really want to be honest, probably 72 hours is better. 48 hours, you've probably still got a lot of soreness. Nutrition is like your fuel. So in the case it's not adding fuel to the fire, but you really need to have you need to eat before this workout a little bit, because you will get pretty depleted, but you really need to eat within 30 minutes of the workout completion to really repair all the damage as quick as you can. Eat lots of green veggies and drink water, as this puts out the fire. All right, so these are like your anti-inflammatory sort of stuff, because remember, when we're doing the training, you're breaking everything, so you need to, like, as much as we're giving you a strategy on how to break it even better, you really need to have strategies on how to repair it even faster, and that comes down to recovery and food. All right, if you do those things, you'll get a lot out of your training. Again, you're not training harder, you're training smarter. All right, so what are you waiting for? If you loved this video, then you'll love the book. Trust, this is only just like one program I've shown you out of 101. So it's not yet out. It's coming out hopefully towards the end of this month. You go to our website for more information. There's some videos and articles there as well. If you want to reserve a copy, send me an email, just info@noregretspt.com.au. Yeah. And if there's any other questions or information, just shoot me an email or check out our website. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.